Hey guys, how's it going? I wanted to come on here and do a little bit of a vlog style video. Let me backtrack. If you don't know, I used to be on YouTube a while ago. I didn't have a major following, but people enjoyed coming onto my page to see my vlogs and to see what I was up to in life. And at the time that I was vlogging, well, the reason I started vlogging, really, some of it was to do with advocacy and activism. And during that time where I was kind of like involved or really vocal in the past, let's say, I was in grad school, doing my master's and then doing law school in Australia. And so to kind of like, I guess, commemorate where I was and to put together some kind of like real life experience or just honestly memories, like I started vlogging, and that account got terminated about a couple of years ago, and probably not something I want to really talk about too much right now, because it was just, yeah, like some people know if you've been watching me on social media for a while why that had happened. But the vlogs were something that people really look forward to, and I wanted to just come and have an honest chat with you all about life, and not have it so formal. I'm not really formal on my Instagram, but the other videos that I've been posting on here as I build my channel again have been more human design based, life purpose based, energy based, and I just wanted to have a chat about, I guess, life, where I've been, my thought process, to bring things down to human level. The last couple of years have been really interesting for me. I may end up getting emotional in this video, and I think that that's an important part of my life for people to see, if that's not something you've seen before or if that's generally something you resonate with. I stopped practicing law a couple of months ago, and now that I kind of say that out loud, I just started this video talking about how I made my channel to vlog about my journey in law school. That was a very difficult decision for me, something that took me about a couple of years to bridge through. And sometimes I'm amazed at how long people have been on my Instagram platform for, or if they watch my videos before on YouTube, because they have an understanding of where I've been, an understanding of everything I've been through. And for those of you that are new, school took over my life for about a decade. Bachelor's, master's, like MBA, JD, law school, and I didn't have breaks in between. I was somebody that even during my undergrad took 2 summer semesters, and then during my master's in law school, because I was at a school that ran for the full year in Australia, I didn't have breaks really. So it was a large part of who I am, or who I became, and it's not that it's not a part of who I am now. I just don't define myself based on those achievements anymore. And I think at a point in time, that was what I really held on to as like who I was, right? And so it was just really hard to bridge all these life changes. During my articling is when I started going through my divorce, and a lot of my healing work is based in being honest about these experiences I've gone through, and the emotions are me releasing and being just open and in a way where people actually want to be here and are of course invited into my space and in my bedroom to of course empathize, or like I said, resonate with these life experiences. And yeah, it's been quite a ride, and as of lately I've really seen and felt my life turning around into my purpose. I have had a rough go for about the last 4 years since I got called to the bar, and it wasn't anything super negative. I I became awakened in a whole new way and started to learn things about myself that I didn't know were there. That's what happens when you start to awaken, or even longer now than that. That was just when I really became conscious of it. I'm hitting that 4-year mark, and so that may be why I'm more like attached to this sort of timeline and conversation at this moment. Not that I apologize or need a reason for that, but when we hit these sort of time loops in the year where we went through certain experiences before, it can bring up a similar sort of emotion. And so I'm really feeling into where I was at that time. And so making these sort of videos, I think, will be really therapeutic for me, and will give people an understanding of how I got into the work that I'm doing and how I got into this healing work. And a big part of that was my twin flame catalyst and awakening, and really using that as a way to find my balance, and to keep that short. Twin flame is somebody that carries the same energy as like a mirror soul and activates you in your awakening process. And the outcome is not a guaranteed relationship with this individual. It can be romantic. It's about the coming into inner union. Something I was talking about today with an engager and a client was like how that term is being thrown around, and that it's not a journey for the faint of heart, and it's not that people are weak, or that I'm meaning to call people that. It's like what that catalyst, when you actually meet your true twin, does, like what that catalyst does for you in your life is like heartbreaking, life altering, crushing, but beautiful all at the same time. It's a lot of emotions. And so the last 4 years of these integrations and shifts have been run based on that energy and based on my purpose. And not everybody has a twin. Majority of people on the planet do not. There's only about like 150,000 of us on here, on planet Earth. And so true twins will know what I mean. And like I said, I don't mean to diminish anybody's relationship, but like what I've gone through in finding myself has been irreplaceable, and it doesn't mean that it was easy, right? And so it's hard. Like, I'm about 3,000 years old, if not older, when it comes to energy. I have been through a lot of lives, a lot of war, famine, heartbreak, and these are all things that have shaped who I am, the empathy that I have, and the ability for me to do the work that I do. And some days it's really hard, some days it's really easy. And sometimes I'm met with shadow ban and censorship, and sometimes I'm met with fake accounts and people that don't understand my view. And that's just a very 3D perspective to have, right? Like, we are humans at the end of the day, and we're all going to have our specific viewpoints based on where we've been, based on what we can understand or are willing to understand. And sometimes not anymore, but in the past, you'd be like, why am I doing this? Why am I here? Like, like that's where my mind kind of goes, because I live very different than, a lot of people in my circle, or maybe a lot of people that follow me, because we all have these different, like I said, experiences and different lifestyles. And yeah, like, this is my last life on earth. And I know that through my guides, through the work that I do, and just based on how I feel on a daily basis, I wouldn't be able to really be grounded or to sustain a 3D life after this one, because of the amount of healing I am doing, the connection I have to the universe and to source, because of this catalyst and awakening, and because I know my timeline has played out. And so when I remind myself of that, it becomes a lot easier to be an advocate and an activist, because I know where I've been, I know where I'm going, and I know why I'm here. But as a person, as a physical being, it's it can be easier said than done to have that be your reality and to be your truth on a daily basis. And like I said, things have started to turn around for me in understanding that and accepting it, and also in disassociating from noise, really, because I know the future, I know where we're going, and navigating the choppy water in between is really my job as a healer. My purpose in being here and remaining grounded in those moments is very important and crucial. And it doesn't mean that I won't be impacted as a human, right? As somebody that still has a beating heart and 2 arms and 2 legs and a brain and an ego. So it's it's something that I think I'm finally mastering, navigating, as I see really positive shifts in my life, as I see the rewards of the work that I put into my own life, as well as into my work, right? And it's living kind of for the future, even though I'm in the present, right? Not dwelling on all these experiences that I've had, all the hardships that I've had, as kind of like tokens to hold on to merit, right? Like those aren't things that, like the schooling or like the old marriage or the divorce, like those are not ways for me to hold on to who I was, right? It never has really been. But the school part mainly, it was, oh, my back. It was very like hard. Like sometimes like I'll ask myself like if I made the right decision, and like if I should go back, or like, you know, like it's becoming comfortable with allowing myself to use a title that I'm not using conventionally anymore. And I think because, well, I am the only person I know that does what I do with the education that I have. And so I think that that's really cool, but I don't think that it's something that's like completely respected yet. And so to maintain that self-respect while holding the title is a new space for me. And I don't need like the reassurance and validation. Really, it is, yeah, I think maybe it's my age, you know, being 31, or maybe it's the lack of recognition of the importance of the work that I do within this specific profession, lack of recognition individually for myself. And that's not what I need. I know that there are a lot of people that are motivated by the work that I do, and we're still hitting a cusp and a climax of a specific generation of lawyers leaving the profession in order to create real systemic change, which is what I'm here to do, and not something that I could have done within the system. And some people ask me why I left practicing law in the conventional way, or the typical way, let's say in private practice. Like I can see the firm that I first started at from my window here. And so I'm very close to the environment that I started in. I still live in the place that I started renting when I got my first big associate job. And so the ebbs and flows of my life through that work and the pandemic and growing, right? I'm still in that. There's still something that I have outgrown, but I'm still catching up with in the 3D. And so, you know, like, I can't remember what I was really saying, but there's no like regret in leaving. It's like, I think it's the acceptance of I'm here to do more, right? And when your ego doesn't feel like it's been validated in that ability or in being important in that way, you have these natural self-doubts of whether you did persevere, whether you are resilient. Oh, I remember what I was going to say was like, you know, and when I think about firms and the places I've been, I wouldn't have been able to even maintain a practice in those places because I worked for insurance companies, right? And some of them are corrupt and are a part of this society that is crumbling right now. So, you know, like, I would be on the side of defending a denial based on somebody not having a V, for example, being V free. And that wouldn't have allowed me to be a productive person, and, you know, mandates in firms, not something that I'd be okay with. And so I actually got fired from that job after a 6-month probation, after my second big firm job, because, you know, I wasn't leaving. I was being called to leave. This was when the farmers' protest was happening. And the universe was telling me, you're not meant to be here, because I was doing advocacy and activism full time on my blog. I would be making posts on the computer at work and maintaining a billable hour practice, all while my grandfather died, all while going through major shifts with my twin in awakening. And it was like just so much at one time that I was suffocating. Like I couldn't breathe. Like, I remember one day when I found out my grandfather had already passed, and there was an episode in our family where something happened during my grandfather's, like, we were doing a memorial thing, and something else very tragic happened in our family in front of a lot of us. And so it was traumatizing, on top of having lost our grandfather. And I was going through the stress of this job and keeping up with my billable target. And on top of that, I was dealing with these awakening things and catalyst with my twin. And so it was a lot. And I couldn't breathe. Like, my chest was so tight. Like, I thought I was going to die. Like, if someone were to just push me, right? And the universe was trying to get my attention. And, you know, it was a couple months later where the farmers' protest started in India. And so if you're new to my content and my page on Instagram, at least, you can go to my farm laws reel and see the background of that protest, which was not covered near adequately in the mainstream media, but it became one of the biggest activists across the world for that. So I was doing some media, some interviews and podcasting, panels, and so I was being called to do that work, right? That was something that I prioritized, and doing my legal work was just something that I dreaded. And so, because my guides had been trying to get me to leave by showing me that purpose of mine, I got fired because I wasn't going to move. And then I felt a relief, and I was like, well, shit, all right. And then everything started to spiral with the vid and the pandemic and the mandates. And so, all divinely guided in timing. And so it was just like, you know, sometimes those things happen. The universe creates a divine intervention if you're not willing to listen. And so at that point, I realized I can't do the conventional thing anymore. It's not working. And I tried to live these parallel lives, and I thought I could succeed in it. You know, my goal was to become partner, maybe to manage a firm, and then to become a judge. And like yesterday, I was watching something on YouTube. It's kind of funny. It was an old judge that got sent to jail. And I was just generally watching the judge, the presiding judge that was giving the sentence, and like the way he was speaking and like what he was explaining, like it hurt a little bit to know that like I put that on pause or goodbye forever. And you know, it was like something that I've been planning for almost 20 years of my life, to be up on that bench. And you know, like people say, well, you can make that decision to go back. It's like, yeah, I could, but making that decision would mean that I give up my entire platform. I give up what I stand for publicly, because I'm not allowed to be public, at least under the current rules. I can't have a public page, let's say, and say what I say, and still be a neutral, objective member of the bar or the bench, and it means that I would have to go back into practice, for another 5 years. And so it has been a lot of change and things that I have powered through with resilience. I know that, with my own self-empowerment, and no one will ever really understand, just like no one can ever understand your life, right? And so even though at times it looks like everything may be put together on my page and my posture is good and I carry myself well, like, I want you to know that off screen there are a lot of things that have been going on. There are a lot of emotions that I too deal with, that you deal with. And, I strive to create as much human connection as I can. I think I do a very good job at that. I'm told that I do. But I thought that, kind of having these videos where I sit down and talk with you, give you that safe space to feel heard in your own hardship, I think that that would be beneficial, right? And so if you like these sort of videos, you can message me, let me know, comment or like or whatever, because I really want to start building up this community again seriously. And I lost a couple thousand followers when my page got deleted on YouTube. And so it was just like, all right, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to do it fresh. And there was just a lot on that specific page, right, that meant a lot to me. And so maybe I could try to get it back, or maybe I can try to email them and see if they will activate. But I don't know. I think all of that content is gone. I think it would just be unique to show you all where I was and even the hardship of getting to this point. But yeah, I send you all so much love. I really do love you all. That, even if you're new, I do from the bottom of my heart. And so I want you to take care. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time, all right? Bye.